Humanity sets the agenda.
It is 4 minutes past 12. You are listening to the Midmorning Talk on Salam Media with me, Mara Mokonda, and it's time for our hit list. Sandra Zaca is living proof that we don't wear our emotional scars, but them not being visible doesn't mean that they don't run deep. A top 100 Mrs. South Africa 2021 semi-finalist, Sandra overcame childhood trauma that came from sexual, physical, and emotional abuse. She is here to share her story with us, a story of hope, a story of inspiration and transformation as well, because she is a transformational coach. And let's hear what she has to say. Hi, Sandra.
Can you? Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here today.
It's a pleasure. There will be a slight delay, so I will give you some time to respond and etc. etc. So you arrived in South Africa after fleeing from civil war in the Democratic Republic of Congo back in '95 with your family. Tell us about your journey. I'm sure it was not an easy one.
No, it wasn't. But I was blessed enough to be with parents that were determined and resilient enough to not give up. The civil war started in the 90s in the Congo, and it was a choice between staying in the Congo and maybe dying or fleeing for your life, like we did for our lives, in order to start a new life somewhere else. And my parents did a good job. We ended up skipping a few borders and ended up in Malawi in the refugee camp for a little bit. However, my parents wanted to give us an education, so they decided it was time to do some more fleeing and more running, and we ended up in South Africa in Durban in 1995.
Hmm. And all this entire journey was with your family as well as your siblings. How many siblings were you?
I have four siblings. I'm the oldest of five. I have one sister and three brothers.
So seven members all walk together from the DRC right up until you reached South Africa. What were some of the challenges that you endured along the way?
Everything was a challenge. Everything. We didn't have any passport. There was no food. There was no water. We didn't speak English because, as you know, the DRC is a French-speaking country. We didn't speak English, so literally we had to navigate. Everything was new. We had to learn everything. Most of the countries we went through were English-speaking, so English was a challenge. And obviously, when you're traveling as a refugee, you can't carry much. All your memories are left behind. We only carried what was important, like our papers, our birth certificates, our school reports, and our photos. I'm so grateful my parents took the photos because now I sort of have some sort of proof of my previous life. So that's really great. And just not having food. I was the oldest, so at the time I was about 15, and my youngest brother was 3. So you can imagine traveling with 5 children under the age of 15. That I can't even begin to imagine what my parents went through with 5 children. I've got 3 of my own now, and I cannot imagine fleeing South Africa to go to a country I know nothing about.
Hmm. And you spent 2 years at a refugee camp in Malawi. How was that time, spending time in a refugee camp, when you thought that things were okay for a bit, but they really wasn't. So just take us through that a bit.
The refugee camp was very interesting. I mean, Malawi was a safe place for us. They put us in a refugee camp that was 20 or 25 kilometers outside of the capital city of Lilongwe, and we were living in tents. My family, because we were so big, we had 2 tents, one for the kids and one for the parents. Sometimes my mom would sleep with the girls and vice versa. We received food because we were such a big family. The UNHCR, which is a refugee branch of the UN, provided food for the entire camp. So every month we would receive 100 kgs of rice, beans, and peanuts and sugar, and the rest we had to make do. So my mom started a garden in the back. She would sell those vegetables or exchange them with the local people. Then we would get meat. We didn't drink milk for the 2 years that we were there, or eggs because those were luxurious items. You just make do as long as you are safe. One of the main reasons why we left was the education. There were no schools for those 2 years that were in the camp. I was not in school, and my siblings were not in school. So education was one of the main drivers of leaving the camp. As refugees, we're not really allowed to study or work much, so we just had to sit around in the camp and do much. So I'm so glad we left because was a waste of time.
Hmm. And despite everything that you've been through, you managed to turn your life around. And I'm sure people are wondering, but how did she do it? So tell us, how did you do it?
I'm a firm believer, and I do this a lot in my coaching business. I'm a firm believer that you cannot wait for life to happen to you. You have to grab every opportunity to make things happen. You know, people will often say, I've got nothing. But for me, for example, I'll say, you have something. If you have a house and you have electricity, then and you have an oven, you can bake bread and sell because people are always willing to help. I teach people all the time, you can't wait for life to happen to you. Grab every opportunity, use whatever, knock on every door, do whatever it takes to be where you want to be. Have a vision for your life. And I think one of the things that my parents did for us was when we were in the refugee camp, they had a postcard. We had a family friend that had arrived in Durban and they'd sent us a postcard. In these days, people don't send postcards anymore. But anyway, that postcard was the first thing we saw when we woke up in the morning and the last thing we saw when we went to bed. So we had a clear vision of where we were going. So have a vision. Don't let your current circumstance determine what your vision looks like. Because no situation is permanent. Nothing is permanent. Anything could change by tomorrow. So I'm an optimist at heart, I suppose, and I take hold of every opportunity, and I teach that to people in my coaching business as well. What do you have in your hands, and use that.
Hmm. And going back again to your time out of school, not knowing English, etc., you taught yourself English. How how did you do it?
You know, it was interesting. I really wanted it so badly. I wanted friends. I wanted to be able to have a conversation. So what I did, we arrived in South Africa in December 1995. In January 1996, I am placed in a school, all-girls school in Durban. And as you know, teenage girls are not the best people. That was hard. And I decided, well, nobody really wants to talk to me, so I might as well teach myself English. So I spent time at the library every single day, particularly I think it was the second break that was the longest. So I would sit there and I would take the little books that I'm currently reading to my kids now. So those are the books I started with, just reading and reading. So I could read English, I could write English before I could speak it better. And by the time I left school, I matriculated when I was 20 years old. So by the time I left school, I could speak English. So I was just that determined to do it.
Well, that determination shows in your life at the moment, and as you said within your advice, that no situation is permanent, and if you want something, you have to go out and get it. What does being well, you are a semi-finalist of Mrs. South Africa.
From the townships of
Chakurity
South
are the
Africa
ideal
to the
means
refugee
to
camps
avoid
in
calamity
Syria
and
or
despair.
orphanages in Yemen,
The
the
Al
eyes
Impact
of the
Foundation
needy speak
gives you the
volumes with
opportunity to
just
sponsor
one
a
glare.
share in war
We know
home
what it's
in
like to
South
be at
Africa.
ground zero with food essentials, clothing and blankets, fresh water portal trucks, and even on site navigators. We use every cent to better their tomorrow. Become part of our journey to bring relief to all. Go to www.ashrafulaid.org or call us on 011 809 8181. Ashraful Aid, under the auspices of Maulana Suhail Wadi.
Looking to get your kick? Kiki's have now reopened on 235 Matthews Maiwa Road in Durban. Head on over for the Taste with Kick. We offer something scrumptious for everyone in the family. Wraps, chicken tikka, burgers, tender grills, mocktails, milkshakes, and so much more. Corporate and events catering available. Visit our social media pages for more info or call 031 209 0119. Kiki's, the Taste with Kick.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Where in this dunya am I going to find a scarf to match my outfit? Only at Al Shazia, the scarf specialists. Enjoy a better shopping experience at our brand new premises. Bigger store, bigger ranges, best quality, excellent service, same friendly faces, ample parking. Al Shazia now at 130 Brickfield Road, U and G Building, Overport, Durban. Grand opening on Friday, 17th December at 2 p.m. inshallah. Al Shazia, the scarf specialists.
يا ربيعا أنت والعطر الرداء خذ قرارا وانطلق لا تنتظر ليس كل الناس.
What makes Randery Jewelers the optimum place for your memorable gift? Is it our range of exclusive, high-end, luxurious jewelry? Or is it our master craftsmanship of all your bespoke jewelry needs? We believe it's because at Randery Jewelers, we know just how to make your special moments last forever. Whether it's for a wedding, anniversary, or just a simple gift to show your love, trust Randery Jewelers to make it special. www.randeryjewelers.com. Make your moments last forever with Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Little bare feet on the icy wet ground, a shiver at his lips, mud on his clothes. When he is cold, the hunger is worse, the nights are longer, and the pain is more severe. What if this was your child? The Al Imdad Foundation's Global Winter Appeal allows you to make a difference for refugees, IDPs, and struggling communities in 21 countries globally. Sponsor a winter pack today for just 600 Rand. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media. Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Mid-Morning Talk on Salam Media. It is 16 minutes past 12, and on today's hit list, I'm joined by Sandra Zaca, who is a transformational coach who managed to turn her life around. She's also a semi-finalist for the Mrs. South Africa pageant, and she's joining me to tell us more about her journey. If you have any questions for her, please leave them in the comment section below, or send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 061 766 0355. Sandra, thank you for joining me and staying with me. I don't know what happened earlier, but things like that are about to happen. All right, now, before the break, we were talking about your Mrs. South Africa pageant and what it's like being a semi-finalist. So, well, what does that mean to you?
Well, as of Friday, I'm now a finalist because the top 25 were announced on Friday. So I'm very honored and privileged. It's been an amazing experience for me. You know, Mrs. South Africa is a platform that gives married women a chance to just explore and have fun. It's really an empowering platform for any woman. I would recommend any woman who is keen to have a bit of adventure and a bit of, if you've got grit and a sense of adventure, then that's the thing for you. For me personally, I entered it. My husband actually suggested it. He said, well, why don't you enter into South Africa? And I was like, I'm too old for that because I just turned 40. He's like, no, that's right. That's what Mrs. South Africa is meant for old people, I think, joke. And I decided to enter and see what happened. And it's been exhilarating. I've learned so much about myself, and I've been surrounded by incredible women. This country is made of powerful, powerful women, and I've just loved every moment. It has increased my confidence, my ability to talk to more people, my business. It has helped me. You know, we receive so much training that it has helped me even grow my business through this process because I'm seeing more and more that really the sky is really the limit. So it's been incredible, and I've loved every moment.
Well, congratulations on reaching
Thank you.
the final stages. Now, you've started your company, Brave Spaces, you know, as a transformational coach, and you want to help people transform the same way you transformed and changed and you were able to heal from your childhood trauma. So, first of all, how important is healing, especially healing from childhood traumas?
Gosh, that's a good question. Healing is so important. Miriam, I think, as you would know, like you can only dish out what you have. You can't give people what you don't have. And if you have so much pain and trauma, often pain turns into anger, into addictions, into withdrawal symptoms. You try and numb yourself by doing all sorts of things. And I think healing is important because it helps you discover who you are. Because trauma, here's the thing, trauma has happened to you. You can't undo what happened to you. However, you can learn to manage what happened to you. The past doesn't need to control you. The pain doesn't need to control you. You can learn to manage the PSTD, and you don't have to use external things to numb your pain. You can learn. You have to be comfortable with the pain in order to heal. And I think that's what's so difficult with healing because it requires you to sit with the pain, face it, and look at it and gradually begin to work through it. And that's often very scary for a lot of people.
Hmm. Yeah, so scary to the point that people choose to probably just leave the pain or brush it under the carpet or something or escape it, you know,
Yes.
instead of actually going through that. It's like we are
Yes.
afraid to go back to that time. So we don't want to experience what we once experienced. There have been many girls and young women who have been in your position and probably are still so even now. So,
Yes.
how can women and girls who are abused seek help?
There are many, well, you can seek help. I have a website if you would like to get in touch with me. If you would like for me to work, you go to www.sandrazaca.com. All my details are there. You can get in touch with me. And also, there are lots of organizations that are doing amazing work. And I know to speak up is always very difficult initially, but find one person. There's always one person that will believe your story, that one person that will give you the courage to speak up. And also, we have to realize that gender based violence is not your fault. You did nothing wrong for that to happen to you. And I think society often makes the victim feel badly as if